Welcome back to another video with Mrs. Danielle DeVita. My name is Danielle DeVita. I am a relationship and femininity coach, and my goal is to help you find the person that's best for you. And today we're going to talk about boundaries in a relationship right after this. Mrs. Danielle DeVita back with another video. I overheard someone say that marriage is overrated. A lot of women say, I like the strong silent type. Well, a lot of men like the feminine silent type. And for sure, it's going down. So a lot of times people are not getting the value. When to speak and when to be quiet is one of the most powerful. She's going to be aggressive, thinking that. And as someone who's been married for 12 years, she's driven, not lazy. And this will make yourself and get on the right path. That understand that you might be doing a disservice to your daughter. If you don't help her understand vetting and proper decision making, now she's going to be a basket case later. If you don't help her understand emotional intelligence, she's going to hold on to a lot of emotional baggage. If you don't So you hear me talk about Crossroads all the time and vetting, and I want to get down to the meat of it, right? I want to get to the root of it, because what the root is of Crossroads and all of these things are boundaries. Sometimes you hear them called deal breakers, but boundaries is actually what it really is. You're setting boundaries, what you will and will not accept in a relationship. And when I say relationship, I mean any forms of a relationship, not just a romantic one. So I am going to talk about how to set boundaries in a relationship and the reason why it is important to set boundaries in any type of relationship. You won't be able to set one in a romantic one if you can't set one with people you are not sleeping with, people you don't know, people you don't love. You're not going to be able to set those boundaries with people you do love, because they know your buttons. They know how to pull at your heartstrings. They know how to get you going, right? So it's like with children, because this is still a struggle of mine. I have little children, right? If they're little and cute and you don't want to see them get in trouble and things like that, you're less likely to be consistent at reprimanding them. And it's because they pull at your heartstrings. Same thing with your significant other. Whether you're male or female, it's hard to set boundaries because you love this person. You either don't want them to leave, or you don't want the relationship to become rocky. You don't, same thing with parents or in the children dynamic. If you are the child, and you're of course an adult child, it makes it hard for you to say yes or no to your parents or a family member like an aunt or an uncle, because they are in a certain position and you don't want to come across disrespectful. Whatever the reason is, it makes it hard to say no to family and loved ones and friends. So the best way to do that is learn how to set boundaries with those you don't know, those you don't love, like they're not your significant other, you don't sleep with them, things like that. When I say love, like you're not in a romantic relationship, they're not family, they're not friends, they're just a coworker, someone off the street. So I am going to show you a video of how to set boundaries with people. You cut off conversations that are becoming toxic. Now, this is between two males. So, of course, if you're a woman listening, you would want to be in your feminine energy. You would do the same thing as far as walking away. Say what you say and walk away. Of course, this has a little bit of macho-ness to it, but this is from Saints and Sinners. And I'm going to show you how... I'm going to actually show you the same video with, I think it's Christian Keys. I love it. He's masculine. This is how he set boundaries in a relationship with another person. So this is not like an actual romantic relationship. This is just his interaction with another man. And then how he sets one with a woman who he was in a romantic relationship. I believe it's his ex-wife. So I am going to show you these two dynamics, because once you master setting boundaries with a person that you are not involved with, or family or friends with, it's easier to set those in relationships. Even if it's a past relationship, you can have a clear-cut boundary. So let me go ahead and show you both of these videos and we'll get right back to it.
What's up, Levi?
What's up is this funeral budget.
What's wrong with it?
Well, first, the amount is insane. $4,000? Secondly, why are you booking performers without consulting me? You've already got 3 different acts scheduled to perform. This is a funeral. This isn't Summer Jam.
Big E lives like big. He should go out big. Besides, I never had to consult with Pastor Johnson about my music ministry. Why would I consult with you?
Because I handle the money here, Miles.
You mean mishandle the money?
You better back off of that, okay? You may think you know me because you heard a rumor or two. You don't know a damn thing about the real me.
You better calm down. You're in the house of God.
One performer, $2,000. Choose wisely. You know, my choices aren't really a concern anymore now that we're separated.
If you had just listened to me for once, I wouldn't have needed to go there.
Oh, so this is an I told you so call.
How was this an I told you so when you never listened?
All right, we're done here. Bye-bye now.
So I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Because if you can say, you know what, I said what I said, and then you walk away. And I'm not saying you have to have all the attitude and things like that, but you say what you say and you walk away. You make sure that your words align with your actions, or vice versa, your actions align with your words. So if you say, I am looking for something committed, I am looking for something real, and then this person tells you, maybe they tell you by date 3 or 4, and you're already feeling them, and they tell you, well, I'm looking for something casual. You know what a great few days, but this relationship cannot continue. We're on 2 different ideas of what a relationship is. You want something fun and casual, and I want something serious and committed. Maybe it's a coworker. They want to continue in gossip. You can say, hey, I don't want to talk about this. I don't want my mood to change. I'd like to talk about something different. All of these things are boundaries. These are your deal breakers. Your deal breaker could be no gossiping. Your deal breaker could be nothing to disturb your peace. Of course, there are going to be some times where you have to have uncomfortable situations, but I mean something that is not necessary. This is just petty stuff. This is something that you don't like yelling. Hey, if you can please talk to me in a normal tone and we can continue the conversation. It could be someone using profanity around you and you're not a fan of it. Hey, you know what? I respect the fact that you say whatever you want, but just when conversing with me, if you can refrain from profanity, if that's your thing, right? If it is someone who is late all the time and you are the one having to pick them up, hey, if you can just respect my time by showing up at this time or that time. Whatever is a deal breaker, whatever is going to disturb your peace, whatever is going to have your patience run out. If you feel like you're now tolerating something, then you need to address it with the person. Of course, I talk about the 3 strikes. If it's something small and insignificant, you can tell them and then remind them again. You tell them, so the first time is you tell them when they did whatever this deal breaker or boundary is, when they've met it, right? The second time is, hey, remember, we've had this conversation before. The third time is, there's no more warning. You can say, well, I'd like this relationship to come to an end because the first time and the second time I told you I didn't like this. So nothing's changed. And then you can go from there. These are crossroads. I talk about crossroads often. You're at a fork in the road where you have to make a decision. The relationship can continue if things change for the better. If the relationship is not progressing and moving in the way that we both said early on in the relationship, then we're just going to have to end it. This is why you have these important conversations, at least by date 1 or 2. You want to have these conversations where you're saying, this is what I value in a partner. This is what I value in a relationship. And that person would say the same thing. And when you guys realize that you're doing something inconsistent with what you said, you address it. That's 1. That's the first time. That's the first warning. If they happen to do it again, that's the second warning. The third time is your warning and your goodbye. If it's something that's high level, sometimes people they only either get 1 warning, or that warning is with a goodbye. Hey, you know what? I don't tolerate hitting. Thank you. Goodbye. And sometimes people be like, oh, well, I put so much time in this relationship. But how sad would it be that you wasted more time when you could be with someone else who's valuing your time, who's respecting you, respecting your time, respecting your body? You want someone to encompass all of these things that you look for. These are standards. These are not preferences. Valuing your womb, your time, your seed, your legacy, your mind, your body, valuing and respecting these things are truly important, because men, if you're a woman, men are only going to value your time as much as you value your time. They're only going to respect you as much as you respect yourself, and vice versa. Women are only going to respect you as a man if you show that you can be respected by respecting yourself, your time, your seed, access to you, access to your money. These are the things that women are going to look for. So show respect to show yourself respect, and you will get respect. When that person still does not respect you after you said it, then move on to a new relationship where you can be valued. And, I know that sometimes it seems stressful to set these boundaries. There's so much I could talk about. I could have this long lesson, but I know your attention span is very limited. So I want to provide as much information as possible. So again, as I said earlier, to have boundaries in a romantic relationship is to best start on those you are not involved with, those who are not family, those who, could be just your friends or your coworkers, or just someone you are an associate with, or someone you do not know. Set these boundaries, because there won't be any pulling of the heartstring. There won't be people knowing what buttons to push or how to make you feel guilty. Again, the goal is not to be rude, to be disrespectful, but it is to be assertive. I can't stress that word enough. Both men and women can be assertive. Aggressiveness is not the answer. Aggressiveness is rooted in some type of fear and insecurity that you feel like you have to pump yourself up, get your viewpoint and your perspective across to the other person. You want to make sure that you are assertive. That means you're not passive. You're saying what you mean, and you're following through with it with action. You are saying, this is a deal breaker. I don't like this. Now, let's say it is someone who is like your boss, or someone or aunt, or someone who is in a position that's somewhat above yours, right? Someone who is a leader, and like a leader in the church, or a leader on a team, or at work, or in some extracurricular activity. I'm sorry, I'm speaking a little bit fast. But let's say it is someone like that. You can say, I respect your input. I appreciate it. I just would like for you to come to me with this a little bit more respect. I wish that you do that. I love criticism. I love to better myself. I want to do better, but I want to be able to receive it. And I need it to come from a place of not anger from you, but constructive criticism. Whoever it is and how you want to say it, of course, you do it your way. You could be a woman and you want to remain in your feminine energy, and this could be your husband or your boyfriend. Hey, you know what? I value your input. I respect you. However, I deserve better. I deserve to be treated better. I would like for you to speak to me like you love and care for me, the same way I would you. I want to receive what you're saying, but I can't because my defensiveness is up after hearing you yell or berate me. This is a deal breaker of mine, and I can't let this continue. So again, setting boundaries is truly important, because this is part of the crossroads. If you set the boundaries late in a relationship, people may not take you seriously because they have already seen that you don't follow through with words and action. They're not consistent. They may have seen you do something inconsistent with a standard or a deal breaker that you set before, or they may have seen you set something opposite of what you've done before. So you want to make sure that you're consistent, and then they will believe you. Now, either way, sometimes people are in past relationships where they've never seen someone stick to what they say they're going to do. So you would have to be the one to show them. And as someone laugh every time I say this, you're going to learn today. And today is the day they need to learn that you are not a bluffer, and that you hold to what you say you're going to do. And you hold them to what they say. And if they don't want to follow through with it, that's fine. As I said, we don't give ultimatums. We let the person know what we are going to do. You can do what you want, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold true to my standards, hold true to my beliefs. And if I say this, I mean it. And when you've crossed those boundaries, there may be no point of return. And if you do return, I would advise you not to return immediately to that relationship. Give it a break. Give them some time to think about it, process it. There's times you're going to have to leave and walk away from a relationship. You need time to process it. The best, and you're not doing it out of pettiness to make them think, but you need to think. Give yourself time to reevaluate the relationship. Was this the first time? Was this the second time? Do you want to stay in a relationship where you are having these deal breakers? What's the level of deal breaker? Is it something that requires only one time, two times? I'm saying this, three, no more than three. Again, I like to say the third time is the strike. So I think that you should ask yourself the question, how heavy is this for you? Write down all your deal breakers, but write it in order from worst to least to worst. Actually do like a thing where it has red, orange, yellow, green. And then write on there, what's the worst? Maybe physical mistreatment, maybe at the top of the list. Maybe a white lie, maybe at the bottom of the list. Or lying is so you don't like that's going to be in the orange. So you need to set those deal breakers and those boundaries up front. So when they do this, they know how strongly you feel about it. And don't sound bitter. Don't sound like you were in this horrible relationship. Say, these are my deal breakers. I don't like lying. No, don't do that. Just say, you know what? I value honesty and loyalty, and I need people to do that. I need people that I can trust, and that is a serious deal breaker for me. So this is all I'm going to leave you with for now. I've talked about this several times on my channel. This is all part of vetting. This is literally the number 2 when I say there's 2 reasons why people are in a relationship longer than they need to be in. If you're a woman, you're lacking femininity. If you're a man, you're lacking masculinity. You're not, in touch with your masculine side. Maybe you are aggressive, but you're not masculine, where you still have a little level of humbleness to you, right? And then if you're both men and women, sometimes you're in relationships longer than you need to be in. This is true for men especially. They will be in relationships and they're not even going to marry this woman. A woman could be in a relationship and it's out of fear of abandonment, fear of being alone. So I think that if the person is not meeting your they're overstepping your boundaries. They're not meeting your standards, not preferences. They're not meeting your standards, these fundamental things. Then you should leave a relationship. Of course, giving them this conversation of, this is a deal breaker. This is a boundary. You're close to this boundary, and having that discussion, of course. But sometimes you guys are talking too much. You're having the same conversation over and over and over and over and over. And I can tell you, it's hard when it's people you love. It's hard when it's your children. It's hard when it's your parent or someone you are in a romantic relationship or was in a romantic relationship with. So you want to make sure you set these boundaries early on. And this is part of the vetting process. This is how you weed people out. Who are going to keep overstepping your boundaries? When are they going to run your patience out and start getting on a level of tolerance? You don't want to tolerate people. This is not what you want to do. So when you find yourself tolerating people, then you need to reevaluate the relationship. Even if it's your friends. If someone is truly your friend, they're not going to try to push your buttons. They're not. And I said often before, people who truly love you are going to try to do what's best for you. Now, there's a difference between people giving constructive criticism and people being rude and disrespectful. So just because people are offering their input or saying something, if it's messing up your peace, I would say this is not the time. Let's have this at a different time. But give a true time that you want to have this conversation and then have that full conversation. But if you're not trying to have that conversation right now, because I've talked about this time, place, and manner. Maybe you are in a public space. Maybe you're about to go to someone's house. Maybe you're on the way to work or you have a meeting and you don't need that type of stress on you. Tell them this is not the time. I'd like to have this conversation later today. Can we do that? But stick to it. Be honest with that. So say what you mean what you say in all situations. When you're going to have the conversation, when you're going to end the relationship, when you want this to progress, and you may have to have a time limit. Jobs have time limit. So why can't we have time limits in our relationship? This is the person that you are in a relationship with. You need to set time limits, because if not, you're wasting time. You're wasting time in a relationship with someone who's disrespecting you, dismissing you, your boundaries, and what you require. Again, not preferences, standards. These are your fundamental values. This is how you view relationships, your partner, the world. These are standards, and you want to make sure people respect your values and standards. If they don't, you don't need to be friends with them. You don't need to be in a relationship with them. If you are family, you may need to, as you can see what I'm doing, arm's length. Arm's length is where you're pushing yourself away from someone just to give a little distance. There's love, but there's distance. There's love, but there's distance. And to protect your peace, sometimes you may need to do that. Maybe it's just for a period of time. If that person does not change, it may have to be for an extended period of time. That's your prerogative. And don't let people make you feel bad about that. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. If you like my content, definitely go to my website, mrsdanielledevita.com. Also, if you didn't know, I have a book that's out, Command Respect from the Woman You Want. This book is a woman's perspective on how to get a woman to respect you, the man. And you can do this whether you're dating or married, or you're already in a committed relationship and you are just engaged or just in a committed relationship. So I definitely think that this would be a good book for you to read if you're a man. It's a quick guide. It's not that many pages. Get through it. If you are a woman, this will be a good gauge on looking to see what a masculine man looks like and how he should respond to things. But don't worry, I have a book that's coming out for you, and it is called Girl, Go Get Your Husband, and that book will be coming out in the spring, or the summer, I should say. And for teenage girls, Boy Bye. So I'm definitely going to try to get this book out this summer. Thank you so much for your time. Take care. We live in a world where femininity, marriages, family, and courting is no longer valued. We live in hookup culture, situationships, and struggle love. The number one reason women struggle in long-term relationships, number one, femininity, and number two, staying in a relationship or entertaining people longer than the woman should. My name is Danielle DeVita, and I'm a relationship and femininity coach. I've been married for 12 years, and I want to help you get on your feminine journey and vet for the right man today. For more of my content, you can visit mrsdanielledevita.com, or you can go to YouTube, Instagram, or my Facebook page. Get on your feminine journey today.